Hi, my name is Alex and I welcome you to today's video. When Jump Force was announced for all current gen platforms at E3 2018, the disappointment among Nintendo fans was great. 1 year later, Bandai Namco answered the calls of the Switch players and gave Nintendo's hybrid console a port of the manga crossover. Bandai Namco had very successful ports, like Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 4 in the past, but there were also some exceptions, like One Piece Pirate Warriors 4, which had to struggle with framerate issues. In this review, I'll evaluate the implementation for the Nintendo Switch and only roughly go into the general game. Jump Force, like most of Bandai Namco's library, belongs to the 3D fighter genre. It can probably best be compared to the Dragon Ball Xenoverse series, because of the similarities of the combat systems as well as the look and feel of the game. This also means that the combat system is not the most complex one, which this kind of game doesn't really need. So if you hoped for a lot of different combos, you will likely be disappointed. The overworld also strongly reminds of Xenoverse, which unfortunately does not invite to explore as much as its counterpart. Most important for a fighting game are of course the playable characters and the corresponding maps. Jump Force has the difficult task to find a good balance between the franchises. In my eyes, this task is quite successful. The most famous manga franchises are all in the game, from classics like Dragon Ball, Naruto or Yu-Gi-Oh! To more modern examples like My Hero Academia or Death Note. Almost every known series is represented. The selection as well as the design of the maps are fitting as they look fantastic. The different trailers have given hope for an epic adventure in advance. In the end it became just a standard story with few interesting ideas or exciting twists. The developers unfortunately didn't dare to create a unique experience and relied too much on familiar ideas. Another annoying aspect is the storytelling. There are a handful of really nicely animated cutscenes, but probably to save costs, most of the dialogues in the game were performed without voiceovers or animations. That just looks boring and doesn't really add anything to the game. For these reasons, the story mode remains the biggest disappointment of the game. To avoid spoilers, I won't go into the plot in detail, but don't expect too much. So if you wanted to buy Jump Force because of a great story mode, you should definitely reconsider. Now let's get to the Switch specific rating. The Nintendo Switch port of Jump Force contains the base game, including the first season pass. The second season pass can be bought separately from the eShop. Another Switch exclusive feature is the local network mode. Of course, the technical details of the game are also very important. So Jump Force runs docked with up to 1080p and in handheld with up to 720p. Both use a dynamic resolution, which is especially noticeable with particle effects. When undocked, this makes the game look blurry sometimes. Like the other console versions, the game runs on the Switch with 30 frames per second, which can be held most of the time. Only with several fast successive complex attacks, the frame rate ever gets below 30. All in all, I'm very satisfied with the technical details. Jump Force on the Nintendo Switch looks great and doesn't have to hide from the other versions. Especially on TV, the game looks gorgeous. Usually when playing fighting games you want to compete online against other players from all over the world. Of course this is also possible in Jump Force, but I couldn't fight many online battles during my test phase. In the few rounds I was able to play online, there were no disconnects or other problems. Let's come to a conclusion. In my opinion, Jump Force is a fun 3D fighting game, with the target group clearly being casual players. That means if you like to fight with your favorite manga characters without using a competitive fighting system, Jump Force is the right choice for you. Since the whole package is great, excluding the story mode, I rate Jump Force for the Nintendo Switch a 7 out of 10. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them below. If you liked it, we'd be very happy about a like and a subscription. Or if you're interested in getting early access to our future reviews, feel free to visit our Patreon page.
Closed doors, I'm a fool for your love.